Greetings, YouTube. I loves me some Terminator. The original Terminator was just a masterful film. I love that. I've seen it so many times. I thoroughly enjoyed T2 as one of the greatest sequels to an original. Aliens being the other example of a great sequel to the original. And I even kind of have a moderate soft spot for T3 simply because it had the intestinal fortitude to end the world. I appreciate that they did that, even though it's going to be retconned out of existence with the newest Dark Fate Terminator coming out in the near future. And it's got Linda Hamilton in it, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. But there's a scene in T2 where Arnie shows up, and he goes to a biker bar, and he attacks, wounds, and intimidates a guy to get his clothing, his motorcycle, and his weapon. It's a classic scene. People consider it to be darkly humorous. I can understand why. Because the guy he's intimidating is probably a really bad dude. Now, I'm not saying that it's morally justified, because it isn't. He attacks a dude for no real apparent reason at that moment in time. But within the context of the film, it makes sense. And let's admit, it's a kick-ass scene. All right? Well, you see, there was a similar scene never used in Captain Marvel, where we get to see Brie Larson's character, in some contexts, do a very similar thing. A guy gives her shit in public, which he does in the film, actually, and she essentially steals his jacket and his hat and his motorcycle, all the while threatening to crush his hand if he doesn't comply. Very similar scene, almost note for bloody note, to the Arnie scene in T2, which is beloved by fans. However, you'll be shocked to hear that someone took umbrage when an unused scene showing a woman character doing the exact same thing as a male character, and it was just terrified that a woman would be so cruel. Arnie was a lot crueler, and it's considered a classic scene. Brie Larson's character, our Captain Marvel, doesn't actually maim this guy for life. She does take his stuff, but he is an asshole. And you get to decide it, the implication is he's been an asshole to women probably for his entire adult life. So, I'm not seeing the problem, but there's a fragile male ego out there who did, and he's got all upset. And what is this dude's name? Or what is his Twitter handle is? So I think this is all this. I think this whole thing played out over Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. I don't really. Saladino for Congress. Marvel has created the worst, most unlikable hero ever, and he spells hero with capital H, capital E, capital R, then a lowercase 0. So hero. Sorry about I find the hero, in quotes, of the film likable when she nearly rips off a person's hand and steals his stuff because he is a jerk-off. Well, that's what Arnie does, and it's considered a classic. And then the best response to this guy from someone named Andrew Salendier is just note perfect. And that's because you sympathize with the guy harassing her. And there we have it. Drop the mic, folks. Scene close. Because that's what's going on here. This dude here, Saladino for Congress, Joey Salads, I guess? Yeah, Joey Salads, who I'd never heard of before, but apparently he's a YouTube dude, I guess? I don't know who he is until this particular thread popped into my sphere of recognition. But yeah, Joey Salads, apparently he sympathizes with the person harassing Captain Marvel. And because of that, he's really offended when the harasser is put in his place. Even though Captain Marvel does a much more sanitized version of that than the Arnie character did in T2. And again, that's a classic scene beloved by fans and has been for years. So when a masculine character does something, yay! When a feminine character does something, boo! There are spun glass figures available at your mall that have more structural integrity than the egos of some men. And it's just astounding how fragile their view of the universe is, that they can't tolerate a feminine character doing the exact same scene as a masculine character. That they're going to take that much offense at it. That they're going to be so deeply wounded by it. And it's a prime example of toxic masculinity and the fragile male ego. I don't get it. I can't understand why that is something that this Joey Salads dude had to get involved in. That this is a hill he was willing to die on. But it's definitely not going to make him look good, at least in the eyes of sensible people. I'm sure the misogynists out there are going to love this dude, and they're going to champion his cause because they're deeply offended that, you know, there is this horrible, icky woman character being heroic, being cocky, being self-assured. She's no better or worse than Han Solo, who's one of the most beloved characters in all of science fiction. Or Tony Stark, who's cocky and self-assured. Or Chris Pratt, playing Star-Lord. Or the list goes on and on. There are tens of thousands of cocky masculine characters in films and comics and TV, and we all love them. But when a female character, when a feminine character is cocky and self-assured, suddenly that's a different game. Well, it's a different game to the misogynists. I can enjoy it just as much as I can when the masculine characters are cocky. Because I don't have a fragile male ego, and I don't pin my existence to some fictional character in a film franchise, as this Joey Salad does. So yeah, let's boost this signal. Let's make Joey Salad the object of ridicule that he so richly deserves. Because his fragile little ego really needs to be shattered just a little bit more.